Thanks to Anker for sponsoring this video. This is my favorite battery pack that I own. I use it all the time, take it with me everywhere. It's from Anker, it's called the Power Core, something or another. I've had it for so long that honestly, I don't even remember the name. But Anker has been making some of the best battery banks out there for years at this point. So when they released the Anker 757 PowerHouse, their absolute biggest battery they've ever made, and asked if I wanted to check it out, well, I couldn't say no. So the real name of the game here is the size, the capacity, and the batteries that are inside. It's a 1500 watt, 1229 watt hour capacity battery, and that is huge. With that, not only can you charge, simple things like your phone, your tablet, any kind of accessories like that, but you can also power really big things like your fridge, a hair dryer, a TV. I mean, all of these things that require a lot of surge of power and a lot of capacity, this battery can handle. And depending on what you're plugging into this, you can get 3 to 5 days of either off-grid or emergency power continuously. I've used a bunch of these high capacity batteries in the past, but this is definitely the biggest one that I've used. And there's a bunch of ways that you can use them. One of the main reasons I use a battery like this is for when we're out off grid. We love to go camping. We love to go for picnics out here in the woods. As you can hear, we're next to a beautiful stream, enjoying the great weather. Well, I'm enjoying the great weather. Every once in a while, and by every once in a while, I mean every single time, my wife, she gets cold. And the solution that we've found for this is to have an electric blanket. This has been a lifesaver because being cold is never really fun, but obviously to have a heated blanket, you need something to power that. And when you're out here, well, you don't really have anything. That's where a battery like this really comes in handy. And that's just one of the uses we use it for. Obviously, I love to take videos and fly my drone and take photos. All of that is great. But of course, all of that technology requires battery, and eventually it's going to run out. So I can easily recharge it while I'm out here and make sure that if there's ever a shot that presents itself, I'm ready to do that. For me, the outdoors is where I'm primarily using this because that's where I need power and I just don't have it. But there's so many other ways you could use this. You could, for instance, go to a park and watch a movie with your friends with a projector, hook it up, have a sound system all running off this battery. You can use it as a UPS, an uninterrupted power supply. So I could plug in my computer with all the critical information on it, and if the power goes out or something gets interrupted, well, this will take over and it switches over extremely quickly so I don't lose anything off my computer. And unlike a traditional UPS, I can actually run everything for a really long time instead of having to quickly make sure everything's saved and shut everything down before the power runs out. Or if you do live somewhere that, has storms or power outages pretty often, this is a great, just emergency generator for those specific times. You can just kind of leave it plugged in, leave it in power save mode. So if anything does happen, a storm rolls through or anything like that, well, you at least have some power to run your essentials. So I think from a design standpoint, this is the best battery that Anker has made so far. I think the design one looks great, even though that doesn't really matter all that much, but it has everything you need right up front. There's a screen that gives you all the information, including the percentage, what power is being outputted or inputted, and what sections of the battery are being used, like the AC ports or the USB ports. There's also right above that, one of my favorite features, which is this light. Great for when you're at camp or somewhere that's dark. It just gives you a nice soft glow so you can see a little bit more around you. And this is kind of your base station where you're gonna be centered around a lot of the time. So having that light is nice. There's also a switch for power saving mode. So when you switch that on, it will detect if it needs to be used or if it can kind of go into a low power mode to conserve its energy, and it does it automatically. But aside from the battery and the capacity, the most important thing is like how much can you plug in? And this you can plug in a ton. So you get 6 AC outlets, 3 are 2-prong and 3 are 3-prong, so you can plug in anything that you need. And these plugs let you handle that full 1500 watts. You also have your USB options, and there's a ton here. So you have one USB-C with 100 watt power delivery. So for instance, my MacBook Pro, charge it up full speed as if it was the dedicated charger it comes with. You also get another USB-C that's 60 watt power delivery. So even that is great. And then you get 4 USB-A ports, which are 4 watts each. So not quite as fast. And then next to that, you have your car cigarette lighter plug. So anything that needs that, you can power as well. So really anything that you need to plug into this battery, as long as it's within the capacity, you're gonna have no problems. There's plenty of plugs, plenty of ports, and there's a ton of ways that you can use this. That 1500 watts does come at a price, and that's weight. This thing is hefty, it's chunky, it weighs about 40 pounds, but that's not a bad thing. I mean, batteries are heavy in and of itself, but it's also built really well. It's made out of aluminum, it has dual handles so you can easily carry it, even though it is so heavy. Now, one of the reasons for this large capacity and something that Anker is really proud of is the batteries that are inside. They're lithium iron phosphate, And that is good for a few reasons. One, they're really long lasting. So when you do charge it up, you can keep it stored and keep it in that low power mode. And it's gonna keep its charge for quite a long time. But when you are using it, if you are using it quite a bit, it can recharge 3,000 times before you start to notice any degradation. And according to Anker, that's about 6 times longer than the typical lifespan for a product like this. And to give you even more peace of mind, this has a 5-year warranty. So you could buy it today, use it for the next 5 years, and if anything goes wrong, they will get you covered. Now, one of the things about a huge battery like this is charging it. Sure, once you top it up and just keep it kind of charged, it's fine. But if you're getting down low, almost to empty, and you need to recharge it, that can often take a long time. But this has something Anker calls hyperflash, and basically it's a super fast charging. So you can go from empty to 80% in 1 hour. And that's using a bidirectional converter and has a 92% charging conversion rate. So it's really efficient, but it's also really fast. But having a long-lasting battery like this is great because, at least for me especially, I'm using this battery on the weekends. I'm not using it every day, so I need to be able to charge it and not have to keep it plugged in all the time. I want to top it off, and then when I need it, I can grab it. And this is great for that. So whether I use it on the weekends or even once a month, I know it's going to keep its charge and I'm not going to have to worry about it. I can just grab it and go. Now, there's a few ways to charge it. You can plug it into a wall with a normal AC outlet. You can also power it with the 12-volt outlet in your car if you want to, keep it in your rig, which is what I'm going to be using it for, building an overland rig right now, and this is the perfect solution for that. And it can handle up to 300 watts of solar charging, and if you are charging with solar, it can charge from 0 to 80% in around 3.5 hours, which is not too bad considering the size of this battery. Now, a lot of times you don't really need this big of a battery. This is definitely a specialty item for those that need a lot of power, but Anker makes a bunch of battery banks, not only for your phones, but even powerhouses just like this. They have the 521, the 535, and these are bringing some of the same technologies just in a smaller capacity. So really anything that you're looking for in this genre, they're gonna have a solution for you. So that is the Anker 757 Powerhouse, and well, it lives up to that name. And luckily, Anker is sponsoring this video, so they're offering you a $100 discount off of this very battery. All you have to do is check the links down in the description. All the info will be there. But whether you need a battery for when you're off grid like this, or whether you want a generator for your home in case of an emergency, or anything in between, you owe yourself to look this one up. It's pretty impressive.